It's the people for putting me on. Don't forget to check out Nerd Focus. Get your brain right in your game tight with Nerd Focus Energy Drink. Um, we're gonna jump right in today. Right now, I'm watching the Brooklyn Nets get blitzed early on by the Boston Celtics. Last time I glanced up, it was 33-7. Um, but what do you expect? Boston and the Celtics looking real good right now. A lot of different things that happen. Sticking with that NBA theme, I know y'all saw the Memphis Grizzlies with the moment of silence for Tyree Nichols, another brother beat down by the police. The madness does need to stop. Um, Prayers to the Nichols family and all those that have suffered at the hands of the police, um, all their families. But um, it's a tough situation. Um, 29 years old, you lose your life on your way home. No good reason. But um, sometimes I say thank God for sports to, bring people closer together. That's one of the reasons why I love sports. Um, and I guess I'm gonna go ahead and get my GOAT talk out the way. Tom Brady said he retiring and this time for good. Um, Dude's had a great career. Out of all athletes I've ever seen, he's probably been the most blessed, along with Michael Jordan. Um, Guys that seem to outwork even their teammates in the competition. Um, they seem to go far. Very inspirational, Tom Brady playing at 45. Now he hanging it up. But good game though. Um, I can't lie and say I didn't think you, he played so long that it was just it's about time he hangs it up. To be honest, uh, it's about time he hangs it up. It's about time he, calls it a day, call it quits. But all the rumors that was swirling, so they puts it into all the rumors. No Raiders. I had speculated if he went to the Raiders. They were talking San Francisco. That's good. Y'all take some of these young. I ain't gonna keep great. I hear some disputes about whether or not he the greatest ever. They say Joe Montana was a better champion, Peyton Manning, better regular season. I heard Mad Dog today talking that noise. For me, Brady is it. Not the most talented. That's why he's it to me. Not the most talented. Um, not the strongest arm. Just outwork everybody. Work ethic, unbelievable, and leadership skills through the roof, leadership qualities through the roof. I'm not saying that those other two guys didn't have leadership qualities. Definitely Joe Montana did. But what I look at is um, Montana left Kansas City. I mean, left San Francisco to go to Kansas City. Didn't win none. Brady left, won a championship, brought a championship. The second championship to Tampa Bay. Uh, and was looking pretty good for another championship last year before they got knocked off. Put up a lot of he put up a lot of great numbers, but uh, um, aside from the the numbers are strong. You gotta forgive me. Today I'm bringing the show tonight. in his hotel. Yeah, they down here. Shout out to the Hidalgo County Head Start. Um, Came down here delivering school supplies and stuff like that. But anyway, back to Brady. Brady, he's the best to me. Not for me, it's just not numbers. It's just the whole package, whatever everything that you want in the leader. And um, even in his losses, he played like he never gave up. He played like the competitive side of him. Just wanted to finish every game strong. Wanted to finish strong. Tempo on the sideline. But what you expect, or the heat of the moment, and you trying to win. You're competing. You're probably not competing as tough. Um, Bear with me as I try to get this Wi-Fi straight. Like I said, I'm down here in Brownsville. Um, so um, I don't know. Just looking at all the aspects of Brady, everybody had a favorite. Everybody had a favorite Brady moments and stuff like that. For me, it's got to be when he got that season when he got Randy Moss. Now they didn't win. They didn't win the Super Bowl that year because Eli was able to pull a rabbit out of the what. But I just liked that season how once he had a great receiver like Randy Moss, um, he was like, "Oh, Peyton, I can do this," and that's the thing that I like most about Brady is that it was crunch time, but none of those guys showed up when it was crunch time. Like Aaron Rodgers always fell short. Peyton Manning fell short. As a matter of fact, Brady beat Peyton Manning a bunch of times. So, and when Peyton Manning did get the best of Brady, it was like it's about darn time. It's like, and then the way that he had been a part of those that had the AFC East on lock, had the AFC on lock. You see, is like got it on lock, like Mahomes and Reed combination. Remember Reed did the same thing with Donovan McNabb. They had, they went to 5 NFC championships. When he was with the Eagles. So this must be a thing that Reed does, but not to take away from what Brady does, man. Brady just, he lived in that. He lived in another stratosphere. He on another level than everybody else. You can compare all you want, but it is not. It's not even just the 7 rings. It's the fact. I mean, I think he only missed, especially in a whole lot for the way that he plays. Didn't go out with a win, but went out competitive. Threw the most passes, had the most completions. Is always the most something with this guy when he plays. Granted, they didn't have a run game, so they threw the ball all the time. But just the fact that he was 45 and able to throw the ball that many times. Remember when Testaverde was old? He couldn't throw like that. Like I think he was like 39. He couldn't throw like that. Brett Favre, when he hit 41 or whatever, he was done. He was done. Aaron Rodgers struggled a little bit at 38 or whatever right now. You say Aaron Rodgers can bounce back, but I'm like, but doing it at a high level for a long period of time, you got to salute the GOAT. And since I'm talking GOATs, I wanted to talk about LeBron, man, with the, he go cry his way to history, man. Like, I've been hearing talk all week ever since the weekend game, that game Saturday, I think it was against the Celtics where he was fouled. He ain't the only one that get robbed on calls. I don't like the fact that the referees even apologize for it. You make mistakes. I didn't like that. Like for real, just because it's LeBron James, they gonna apologize. And he fell out. Hold on, I gotta do it. I gotta do it, boss. got to do it, and this is why. Got to, and this is why he falls out. No, he falls out. Trey all over the place. Like, yeah, they were wrong. The call was bad. The call was bad, but they didn't call. But like some say they don't call a travel. In the NBA, they never call a travel. You know, so I'm not going to even dispute the travel or not. What I'm saying is that any other player that fall out like that, if that was Patrick Beverly, he probably go into the showers, bro. If it's anybody else, all I'm saying is don't say they don't show you no love when they let you fall all down. You know what I'm saying? They let you do your thing. They let you show them up, like big time show them up too. It was a mistake. It happens. It was a mistake. It happens. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to dispute whether he traveled or not. I'm just saying he make mistakes. They make mistakes. It happened. And that's the second time I've seen LeBron act a fool when he get fouled like late in the game. Actually, I don't think it was him that got fouled that other time. I think it was Anthony Davis or something or whatever. And he was acting a fool. Like LeBron, you too great my point is you don't even have to do all, bro. Like, I get it. Now, don't get me wrong. The Lakers are that sorry that they need every win for the season, which is what I want to talk about. I heard Jay Will from the Keisha and Jay Will and show about Charles Barkley had made those statements about players need to play. The collective bargaining agreement is probably going to lead to a lockout or something, or different things going to happen because the players, they need to play instead of all this load management, missing all these games, ripping the fans off. And I've said that plenty of times, being a diehard fan. I've said that already. I said we as fans need to take it upon ourselves and stop putting money in their pockets. But Jay Will talking about it's about legacy. So what you want, regular season, postseason, or whatever. We want it all. As fans, we want it all. Realistically, we want it all. Whatever that entails. I mean, they acting like they reinventing the wheel or something. This has already been done with less technology, less sophistication in medicine, less, less workout equipment. All this stuff has been done. Less trainers, less doctors, less whatever for each team. This stuff has already been done. So I don't want to hear that, Jay Will, as far as these players. And I got LeBron in this conversation because, as he getting ready to pass Kareem either next week or the week after or whenever he going to pass him, longevity and keeping your body right and playing, he sits out a game here or there, but I've already said that he got the right to sit out. Like, look how many championship runs he done been on. If Steph want to take a night off, I don't blame him. Klay Thompson, those dudes, in my mind, they done earned it. Everybody else ain't earned none for all the time that they taking off. Giannis included. I like Giannis, but Giannis starting to do that same thing, take a game off here or there, with soreness, no injury. Jimmy Buckets, he's supposed to be a warrior, but they taking games off. Man, it's a shame. The games that AI missed was because he was truly injured and couldn't play. I mean, I seen AI play with him play with every pad, every knee pad, elbow pad, shoulder pad. I seen this guy play with everything. Like, but I can't see these guys play. So I don't want to hear that. And then you talk about if the regular season is not important, then why do we care that LeBron James getting ready to pass Kareem? He didn't score all those points just in the postseason alone. He did it in the regular season. So I don't want to hear the regular season don't count. When we sitting up there talking about, Jokic with the triple doubles and Luka putting up 50 and 60 and, Dame Lillard dropping 50. When we talking about all this stuff, that's in the regular season. Is it not? They put on a show for the fans. And I like what Steph Curry said. It was to the fans as far as, he ain't one of those. Basically, he want to be out there and play. And sometimes it's the organization that forces them to sit out. Each case is different. But when you start looking at it, it's like you got to get a little, I root against LeBron as a player, as a player only, as a person, as, his craft or whatever to do. He up there, he great. great. You probably won't guys coming close to any records. And not to be funny, but he just passed Mark Jackson and Steve Nash on the assist, for fourth on the assist list, I think, working his way to third. I don't know, those things got to be appreciated in a person that can keep themselves right and be able to do it. These young players, that's what they should be doing. They should be asking LeBron James, how did he maintain so long? How did he stay up so right? It's my thing. But don't even think of that kind of stuff, man. They just talk a lot of noise, like, but Jay Will, it was like real disappointing to hear Jay Will. And then I started to think, not to be funny or nothing, but then I started to think, Jay Will was taken out with injuries. He needed to see his potential. You don't think he'll make it to third? Yeah, he probably won't play that long, huh? He probably won't play that long. But it's impressive. To me, it's impressive the things that he's already accomplished. Like him passing Kareem says enough right there. And I've been hearing these debates all week, or these disputes all week, whether or not he's a scorer, whether or not. Man, look, here it is right here in a nutshell. The best scorer I ever seen with my own eyes was Michael Jordan. I never saw Wilt Chamberlain other than a film or whatever. But Michael Jordan was the greatest scorer that I saw, regular season and postseason. Kobe could get buckets, but I think LeBron is a little bit better than Kobe in those respects, man. You got to give credit where credit is due. I think LeBron, he an all around player. Which is why you got all these all around players right now. You can see the LeBron James effect on the game with the Jokic, the Lucas. You can see who they pattern their games and stuff after. Pretty much LeBron. He set a bar. Yeah. Oh yeah, CP. He's still playing. And someone said, I heard someone say that you got to check the numbers and stuff, but LeBron did play D. Now I saw him blocking shots, and I saw him play in certain games. Do his. But what makes it's like I'm gonna always be a Jordan guy, but what makes LeBron, and what makes me root against LeBron, and this is since he came in the league. When he came in the league, the Cleveland Cavaliers, y'all got to remember, when he came in the league, Cleveland Cavaliers sucked. They was trash when he came in the league. He didn't struggle very long. Before you know it, by his third year, third year or something like that, he in the championship. He even took scrubs, and he was playing with scrubs. See, that's the difference to me. When Michael Jordan was playing with scrubs, they couldn't get out of the first round. Now, granted, you had to go through the Celtics. He got beat by the Celtics in the first round quite a few times, but you had to play the Celtics. You had to play the Pistons. They was tough. When he's reaching certain hurdles, and his team started getting better. But LeBron James took scrubs, man. You got to give him credit for that. Like, I don't know. Where's Anderson Varejao now, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, no knock. These dudes make the NBA, but I'm just saying the talent pool was way less on Cleveland. It didn't seem like LeBron. As a matter of fact, LeBron taught Cleveland how to win. He didn't know how to win himself, but he taught Cleveland how to win. Yeah. Yeah, that guy. Wasn't he Keisha Cole ex-husband or whatever? He was playing. It's Gibson, right? Boobie Gibson and stuff like that. He was playing with, you know what I'm saying? Playing with people like that, But yeah, I know who you talk about, but that's what he was doing, playing with those kinds of guys. So it's like, where was the talent? You got to give him Ilgauskas. They call Ilgauskas a different point in his career. Ilgauskas was pretty good as a basketball player, but he was just old, feet bad, ankles bad, knees bad at that particular point. But LeBron on those early teams, I mean, he didn't stand a chance to beat the San Antonio with those squads. He didn't stand a chance of beating them, but he was good enough. So when I look at, we talk levels and different things, I gotta say it myself. For me, it's Michael Jordan, and of course, Magic and Bird for whatever they did. But I think LeBron, once he gets the whole Kareem record, he's going to supersede Bird and Magic in my mind. Magic and Bird in my mind. That's just the way I look at it. I still think, um, um, I still think Mike is I think Mike is just slightly above him, but like now he done got Bird and Magic, the guys that the NBA that we know it as was built, it was built on their backs. It was built with their sweat. It was built with that whole thing. But this is why he supersedes them to me. It's a different time, and you got to remember, MJ is over. And for me, MJ is over Magic and Bird. He passed him up when everybody wanted to be like Mike. When he passed him up when it was Mike. When Mike, Mike was selling out arenas, and Mike was, Mike. When Mike just put his stamp on things, and even when Larry Bird said to himself that Michael Jordan was like Jesus and Jesus in a pair of Nikes or whatever, Magic Johnson said to himself, he passed him up, they gonna always, don't get me wrong, they gonna always be up there. But I'm saying, if I'm gonna rank my levels, it's gonna be Jordan, then it's gonna be LeBron, and then Magic and Bird, it's gonna be those levels, because let's just face it, a part of the appeal of Magic and Bird, they were both great, but a part of the appeal was the whole race thing, the whole black versus white thing, that had a lot to do with it. And that's a crazy thing. On a side note, can you imagine back then what the Boston Celtics fans must have been saying to Magic and Kareem and Worthy and all those guys, in light of what they were saying to Kyrie or whatever, think about that for a minute. Like, and while I'm saying that, that's a Stimulate Your Mind moment. Don't forget to check out my show, Stimulate Your Mind, every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. iHeart, Apple Music, Tuned In, etc. But yeah, it rattled them. Yeah, but it's Kyrie, don't take, not to be funny, but sometimes it don't take much to rattle Kyrie. But I like the whole aspect of where we're ranking these ball players, and young Magic. Well, watching that show, I was watching that show, and the way they portrayed Magic, he was handling it quite well on the court, but behind the scenes, he seemed to be a little bit indifferent. But he had his own views also, like, saying like, I want to beat Bird, like I just want to beat Bird. But what I like about the Bird and Magic story is that you always have to pretty much mention them together. You never really mention them separate. Like, they come as a package deal. And then we talking Mike and LeBron, we talking Mike and LeBron, and then we talking Bird and Magic. I mean, I like that. And then, then of course you got the Bill Russells and stuff like that. But LeBron is gaining in some people's mind. He already done passed Mike, but for me, if he was a little bit better champion, then you would have to say, yeah, they running neck and neck. But for me, I got to count those losses, especially losses that I didn't think he should have lost. Before I wrap that up on LeBron, losses, it's like Tom Brady. Losses that I think he shouldn't have lost. Like, to tie them two in, Brady's the GOAT. He won 7 rings. I don't think you're going to see another quarterback win 7 rings. You might see another player do it, bouncing around from team to team, but you won't see another quarterback do it. And at least not the way he's starting quarterback. But Brady, I like Brady, but it was some losses. It's like LeBron. LeBron never should have lost to the Dallas Mavericks. Dirk Nowitzki them was soft. They were soft and old. He was playing with an old J Kidd. He was playing with an old Jason Terry. No, wait. No way Dirk Nowitzki and those dudes beat you, man. No way they beat you. And then LeBron wasn't even fourth quarter. Like they didn't know those games, that series. He just didn't show up. He didn't know what to do. It was like, whoa, it's almost like he was waiting on D Wade to do something like save us, bro. When you're supposed to be the man, when you the man, dog, you got to take it to him. I mean, if he'd have took it to Dirk, them, which is what I'm going to say, ties it in to my problem with LeBron always. The game the other night, the Jason Tatum foul. Jason Tatum fouled him on purpose. He blatantly fouled him, like dare him to shoot free throws. But if you watch the play and several other LeBron plays, man, dunk the basketball. I scream at the TV all the time. If you just dunk the basketball or put the back of his head on the rim, they gonna call a foul. If you go and do what you do, man, like stop all the trying to shoot with fadeaways. That's not your game. Your game, you the strongest thing out there. Flex a little bit. Stop the flopping. Stop the flopping. You wouldn't have to whine. If you go up there strong and aggressive, they're gonna give you that foul. Trust that. But you never do that. You never just go strong. You never just go, man. I always think, dude, that's why God didn't give me no size. You see why he didn't give me size? Because if he'd have gave me size, it's for real. It's like you cock it back when you by yourself. Cock it back when they're in the lane. That's what Mike did. That's what Kobe did. You know what I'm saying? Like, make the refs, make them call a foul. They're going to miss some calls, but make them call it. He going to have to blow that whistle. And he never does that. That's his shortcomings. Now, Brady losing twice to the Giants. The one, I felt the Giants, the Giants shut them down. They earned that one. They earned it. And the other one, it was like Brady just didn't play it. You can't say he played great in every Super Bowl. He didn't play great in that Super Bowl. He didn't, it wasn't really a good game. They couldn't even score. I think they scored like 10 points in that particular Super Bowl or something. Like they didn't score a lot of points. And they were supposed to, and they had a highly efficient offense that was a pick you apart offense, and they couldn't get it done. It comes down to like him trying to throw it to Wes Welker, diving for the ball, missing it. It's like, nah, it's like, some games Brady didn't bring his all, he didn't play well, which is what we've seen. Now I'm going to get into it. Patrick Mahomes. This Super Bowl, Chiefs, Eagles. I'm going to go ahead and let the cat out the bag. I'm rolling with the Chiefs. I went with the Eagles against the 49ers, which I'm going to get into that a little bit because the 49ers disappointed. Cincinnati, where you at? Burrowhead Stadium, where you at? Y'all fell short. And this is my thing. I'm going with the Chiefs because I just think Mahomes is better. I think Mahomes is I think Mahomes is better. He said blasphemy. I think Mahomes is better than than people. You saw him, man, limping. The dude called on a bad ankle. And I wasn't a huge Mahomes guy at first. When they, which is why I didn't want to see the 49ers go again, because y'all can't beat the guy. Y'all had the guy up against the ropes before in the Super Bowl and couldn't deliver. But I was disappointed in San Fran. I wanted to see a classic game on both sides. The Bengals held up their end of the bargain. The 49ers didn't hold up their end of the bargain. And it had to do with Brock. Purdy got hurt early in the game. I get that. But they was talking about potentially Tom Brady before he announced his retirement. They potentially going to the 49ers. And it was like this, that, whatever. It's like, no. They not going. It's like, no. Brady, did you see what they did to Brock Purdy? Did you see what they did to Josh Johnson? Did you see what the Eagles did to those guys? Is that what you want Brady to suffer through? They talk all this noise about one lineman, Trent Williams. The rest of the line not that good, and they were exposed. They got exposed by the Eagles. When it came to, this is what impressed me about the Eagles. The physicalness. They out-physical the so-called most physical team. Nobody peeped that, though, right? They straight up just mano-y-mano. They out-physical. They out physical those guys. Like, I thought the 49ers was going to bring that roughness, that physical aspect. No, the Eagles offense and the Eagles defense out physical those dudes. It's like Shanahan can't do nothing about when they take you like that, man. Like, I was like, whoa, and Bosa, he was a little hurt, or whatever. Hey, look, you could have had the game. You could have had anybody. That was the GOAT just would have got sacked and hurt. Like, these dudes was knocking the quarterbacks out of the game because they were so physical. They were so physical that they beaten the linemen to get back there. They beaten tight ends. They beaten whoever to get to the quarterback, and they putting a hurting on them. Like, that's being out physical. They were just out physical, and I didn't expect the 49ers to be out physical like that or that bad. I knew the Eagles were going to win the game, but I thought it was going to be a close game, to be honest. I didn't know the Eagles, but the Eagles got 2 blowouts, and both times they've showed you how physical they are. So, my other point being Kansas City. I said this already. People sleep on Kansas City's defense, but they turn it up when they need to. We could have, hey, it is what it is. They had to play against whoever. Jalen Hurts' shoulder still hurt too. You can tell Jalen Hurts' shoulder still hurt. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Hurts' shoulder still hurts too. But I'm just saying they got, I just didn't expect them to go out like that. Like, for real. They got out physical. This is my point. I didn't expect the 49ers to come out there. They played a very physical game against the Dallas Cowboys. So I thought they was going to play a physical game against the Eagles. I mean, Bosa, I got to give him credit. He got hurt, like, on the sideline or whatever, and that seemed to fuse some of his, some of his superpowers or something, a little bit or something, because he wasn't the same after being hit on a fluke play. And the crazy thing is the Bengals. If you go talk all that noise, man, you gotta back it up, which they were backing it up. And everybody talking about, all I've been hearing is, oh, the referees did this. The referees did this. The referees did that. You're right. They had their quarterback. They say the referees did this, but he ain't even throw the ball. They pee-wee. See, this is what I'm talking about, Trey. The Eagles pee-wee football these dudes. They pee-wee football. Just line up and run the ball. Line up and run the ball. Like, he didn't throw many passes. Like, he didn't complete many passes. Yeah, the Bengals put up a good fight, but it was times where I felt like they had all the momentum, and they should have, and they would go. I was getting nervous because I picked the Chiefs to win, and I thought, man, they're gonna blow it, especially when Mahomes fumbled the ball. I was like, the fluke fumble, trying to throw it, and it slips out his hand. Stuff like that almost make you think sometimes, man, it's the NFL. It's not. I know it's not rigged. I know these dudes wouldn't go out there and play rigged, but sometimes it'd be like, man, come on, man, really, the ball just slip out your hand like that, Patrick the Great. I mean, things happen, but in a moment like that, it's like, wow. They couldn't capitalize. They capitalized somewhat on a touchdown, but then they get a stop and they get the ball back, and it's like, man, they can win this game. Mahomes never should have got the ball back. In the closing minutes of that game, in the closing seconds of that game, Mahomes never should have had a chance. That's where the Bengals let me down at. That's where they let themselves down at, is that they let Patrick get the ball back again. They shouldn't have done that. Like, but what about Chris Jones? I told y'all the Chiefs defense, that's my if you listen to me moment right there. But don't listen to me always, because, sometimes I go with emotion, especially when it comes to the Cowboys. But, man, I couldn't believe, like, Chris Jones, he played well. Several other players on that defense played well, but the thing that got me was the cornerbacks, the secondary. They brought it. Like, they didn't let Jamar Chase beat them bad. They didn't let Higgins and Boyd really get off. I was impressed with what the Chiefs did. The Chiefs remind me of the Patriots on their Super Bowl runs. When the Patriots was doing the same thing. They don't play lights out defense, They play situational. They play good situational D, and they play bend but don't break throughout the bulk of the game. They play bend but don't break, but then they play good situational D, because when it all came down to it, Chris Jones, he gets the sack. They don't sack Mahomes. Mahomes, I knew the game was over when Mahomes ran for the when he took off running for the first down. I didn't even care about the push in the back or whatever, because they still had 8 seconds. And let me tell you how the 8 seconds was going to go. He was going to throw another 6-7 yard pass or something for you know what I'm saying, to get a few more yards, and then they was going to kick the field goal anyway. Get out of bounds with like 2 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds on the clock. Yeah, it was going to go that way, man. And when Mahomes took off and ran that ball, it was over right there, because the young wants to win. That young man wants to win, and he has a competitive thing. He has a competitive nature about him. That's what separates him from the rest. But I don't want to hear any more talk about Josh Allen until Josh Allen gets to that point. Until Josh Allen actually shows up and plays, I don't want to hear nothing about Josh Allen. I don't want to hear nothing about Justin Herbert. I don't want to hear nothing about Dak Prescott and all the rest of them until they start reaching these levels where they playing meaningful football, you know. And here's something funny. Sean Payton went to the Broncos, and I know why he went to the Broncos. He said he wanted to go to the Broncos. Yeah, he wanted to go to the Broncos when he realized he wasn't going to get the Chargers, when he wasn't going to be at LA coaching the Chargers. Because now I'm going to get in the division and I'm just going to beat you twice a year. Now I'm going to go upside your head. But I don't think he thought that all the way through, because in order to dethrone Reed and Mahomes, man, it might take more if you're on your point. The Chargers, Sean, smart move. Like, if they didn't want to make the move, it's almost like when Brady said about, what was his name, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Oh, you gonna keep that MF? Like, oh, you gonna keep that MF? So now I'm gonna come over here in your division and I'm just gonna show you what you missed out on, basically. And them picking up, you know, the Chargers picking up Kellen Moore is like good riddance. I've been saying it the whole time, that the clash of McCarthy, you could just look at McCarthy on the sideline with the plays being called, and everybody want to steer, you know, mass media, big media, man, they try to steer the narrative different. It's not that, people. Listen to me, the people's coach. It's not. Kellen Moore was, Mike McCarthy never wanted Kellen Moore. But now that it's going to be his job on the line, it's just like Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles didn't want Byron Leftwich. He wanted to bring his own guys in. It's like when you're the head coach, you should be given those rights to bring your own people in. I mean, they shouldn't tell you, keep this guy, keep that guy, because that's my guy. You're not coaching. It's me. It's my head on the chopping block if things don't go right. But you telling me to keep this stooge over here. It's like, no, I don't, you know, Kellen Moore is all right. They had a good offense. I'm not going to knock him. But he going with Justin Herbert. I heard him talking, oh, he has a great arm. He has good fundamentals and all this stuff. But I think, you know, that's not going. They're not going to win a championship like that. You don't think Todd should? You don't think Todd Bowles? I think Todd Bowles is right to be a head coach to at least get a shot, to get a look. Now, don't get me wrong. I didn't see the, you know, like, I didn't like the move for maybe somewhere else, maybe not the Bucks, because Bruce Arians. I think if they would have had Bruce Arians, they would have had a better offense. To be honest, I think if Bruce Arians, and I think that sucks too, because Bruce Arians was on the sidelines early on in the guy's ear and all this stuff, and then he backed away from that, which I'm glad he did, because he shouldn't have been there in the first place. But at the same time, it's like, it's almost like he quit putting input in. My thing is, Byron Leftwich should have took he would have had the Jacksonville job. You wouldn't even be talking about Doug Peterson possibly being coach of the year if Byron Leftwich would have took that job last year. But he held up on it. Man, you snooze, you lose. I mean, Byron, he the one got messed up out of this deal. But I think, yeah, I think so too. But he didn't take it. He had it, you know, for the team that he played for. He could have been the Jacksonville Jaguars coach, but he didn't take it. So he decided to stay with the Bucks to try to get another cheap ring to try to ride that. But here's the problem. I think if Bruce Arians was the head coach, they would have been a better team. Because I think the players listen to Bruce more than they would have listened to this guy. Yeah, he made the wrong choice. That's life. It's about choices. Um, I think Todd Bowles earned a shot. Um, but I agree. Before you fire me, see, I agree with the McCarthy way and the Todd Bowles way because they both said the same thing. You know what? Get rid of all these assistants. They not my assistants. They was Bruce Arians' assistants. These assistants was Jason Garrett's assistants. These ain't my guys. Leon Lett, that dude been with the Cowboy organization for how long? Them Jerry's guys. This not my guys. Let me bring in my guys. Or let me interview some guys that I want. Let me put together my team. And then if that don't work out, then you can fire me. Then you can fire me. But don't force me to keep guys and then say I'm not getting it done. No, your guy's not getting it done. I mean, I totally understand the logic. For real. Like, let me get my guys. Now let's try it my way and let's see what happens. And if it don't happen, then, because it's inevitable that you're gonna get fired. It's like Dan Quinn in Dallas for a reason. Now I don't know what Tampa Bay's gonna do. I mean, I don't know what Tampa Bay's gonna do as far as they need a quarterback. They need pieces. So I don't know what they would do if they got rid of Todd Bowles. Would they bring Bruce Arians back? I mean, I don't know. But I look for Tampa Bay. Here it is in the offseason. I look for Tampa Bay. They still got Mike Evans. They got Chris Godwin. If those dudes are healthy, they just need a few more pieces. Need a running back. I would find somebody to complement. I would get away from Lenny. Leonard Fournette should be gone. You need somebody good, because he in that phase with Zeke. He's pretty much done. So you got that Rashad White. He ran pretty good. I would bring in somebody to complement Rashad White. Got to get you a tight end. Quit saying that these tight ends that you got didn't live up to the bill. They were supposed to be all right and decent. They just didn't do it. They just didn't cut it. Get you some players on the offensive side of the ball. Defense tighten up, and I think they'll be all right. As far as a team, I think they'll perform a little. But it depends on who their quarterback is, because there's not that many good quarterbacks out there right now. I mean, you can gamble on the draft, but the draft's not going to guarantee you a great quarterback. I mean, there's some good quarterbacks in the draft. I like at least 2 or 3 of them. It's some good quarterbacks in the draft, but it's not going to guarantee you a spot. It's not going to guarantee you a win. Which now I got to get to the Houston Texans real quick. DeMeco Ryan. I mean, the Texans, just when I had said, forget them. I still think they're a racist organization. Don't get me wrong. I still think they got some issues to work out. And which is why I think they hired DeMeco Ryan. Why not hire somebody that played for us? Why not hire somebody that played for them? He fits the criteria. He's black. The outcry, them getting rid of 2 black head coaches, back-to-back years and all this stuff. The outcry that they've had. Why not bring in a guy? And then to add the cherry, but what I like about what they did, I think the public forced their hand. I think the public forced the Texans' hands to hire DeMeco Ryans and give him 6 years. 6 years? I mean, I'm pretty sure we all would have been satisfied if they gave him 3 or 4 years, but they gave him 6 years. That don't mean they can't fire him within that 6 years or whatever, but they gave him 6 years. So they're willing to give him a shot to build something. And that's their way of saying, we're gonna put this Band-Aid, over this sucking chest wound right here, right? Because they suck in. That's why they did it. So even though I am impressed that they would at least do that for 6 years. Make a commitment for 6 years. And I think DeMeco Ryans, I mean, I'm pulling for him. I think he's going to be an all right coach, but he got a long way to go because that team is depleted of talent. Like I said, and they've had all these different issues. You're going to have to start basically from scratch, get probably quarterback, with the second pick in the draft, take a quarterback or something, either that or get a veteran quarterback and add other pieces. But the Texans in the past, they've passed up great draft picks, and they've taken, you know, like the one year they took Jadeveon Clowney. Before that, they took Mario Williams. When they could have got like Reggie Bush or somebody that could have balled a little bit more. They went different ways with their picks. So they do crazy things. So I wouldn't be surprised, but they probably don't have the quarterback now. But I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans, did something crazy. And if JJ Watt is saying that DeMeco Ryans is that guy, then he's that guy. I mean, he gonna have a good defense, but just because you can coach D, you see with Todd Bowles, he's had good defenses. Being a head coach is a little bit different, bro. It's a little bit different, DeMeco. Are you gonna have a good offense? Like, who's gonna be your offensive coordinator? What are you bringing? What are you bringing with you? Like, what do you have on both sides of the ball? Because typically the Rex Ryans, they always thought they could win with any old quarterback. That'll get you to a certain point. Won't get you all the way there. We've learned that in the past. The only teams that have had success with any old quarterback is the Baltimore Ravens, in my mind. The Ray Lewis Baltimore Ravens. And then in that stint, they only did it twice. That good defense only got them there twice. Brad Johnson, I could kind of sort of put the Tampa Bay Bucks first championship in there a little bit, but Brad Johnson was a better quarterback than Trent Dilfer, and in my mind, better than Joe Flacco. He was better. Certain teams, yeah, you think he gonna poach? You think Shanahan gonna let him poach him? I mean, I think some of that, but I'm anxious to see what he does. In my mind, I know he can't do it because there's a conflict of interest, but I would have ticked them off. I would have ticked the Texans off, and I would have brought back Lovie Smith as my defensive consultant coordinator. You know what I'm saying? But we know DeMeco Ryan's going to eventually have all the X's and O's, but I would have did it because Lovie was one of the best defensive minds in the game, coming up from under the Dungy tree. All those that came from under the Dungy tree pretty good on the defensive side. It's a lot of, but I like the hire. I don't have a problem with Sean Payton being in Denver. I just don't think it's going to yield any fruit. Not because Russell Wilson is washed or he looks washed, but because Sean Payton only won one Super Bowl in New Orleans, and let's face it, it was a gimme. It was right after Hurricane Katrina. They ain't win nothing since. And I was having this conversation the other day, and guy brought up the fact that remember the bad call against, I think it was against the Rams or whatever, the pass interference. Man, if you relying on one play, you wasn't gonna win. Like, if you're relying on one play, I mean, one play can change the whole game, don't get me wrong, but if you're relying on that play, come on, man. Like, for real. Like, so I don't have all this faith in Sean Payton like everybody else does. Like they talking like he the Messiah of football or something. They talking like he Bill Belichick II or something. And it's like he only won one Super Bowl. And then they say, oh, well, he worked wonders with Breeze. And y'all got to understand, Breeze had talent. It's just the Chargers decided to go towards Phillip Rivers, a taller quarterback. They wanted a taller, more physical, they wanted the standard type poster boy quarterback. That's why they went away from Breeze. That's why they shipped Breeze, Actually, they tried to get Eli Manning is what it was, but Eli said, nope, I ain't going to the Chargers. I'm going over here. You know what I'm saying? And then they had to do the swap. Him and Rivers had to swap. But what I'm saying is they wanted a quarterback with the height. They wanted different things, after they got Breeze. In my opinion, if they would have kept Breeze, they probably would have had a Super Bowl. They had a Super Bowl win or a couple of Super Bowl wins, especially when they had like Schottenheimer or whatever. But the Chargers, that's all hindsight. Like, the Chargers, they always make bad decisions. That's an organization that makes bad decisions. They make bad decisions. Quite a few organizations make bad decisions. That's why I'm impressed with the Bengals. The Bengals are not making bad decisions anymore. Look at the Cleveland Browns. They just make bad decisions. No matter. And another thing that I had a conversation about the other day is Watson. People don't like to hear this, but Deshaun Watson was the best or the second best quarterback 3 years ago, however long it was ago, before he sat out that year or whatever. He was, as the young people say, he was cooking, man. Doing his, if not the best. I can't say he was better, like, but after sitting out 2 years, what do you think you're gonna get from a guy? I mean, it's gonna take him a while. I still don't think. I think by mid-season next year, he might be back to some of that Deshaun Watson. Or we might not ever see that Deshaun Watson again. And plus, it's Cleveland. A lot of careers go there to die. Like, if I was Myles Garrett, I would be asking to be traded up out of there. Like, hey, Myles Garrett, see if you can go to New England or somewhere, man. You and Judon or whatever, man, y'all would be a great pair. Get out of the Cleveland, man. Like, if you're in a Cleveland uniform, get out of Cleveland. You've seen what it does. As Baker Mayfield, as Odell Beckham Jr. Everybody that goes in, the organization is just not a winner. It's just not a winner. They make poor decisions. They got all the talent in the world. Look at it. But Stefanski is the head coach. They ain't realized that guy's the problem. It was never Baker Mayfield. It was never OBJ. All that stuff. You got the talent, but why is it not producing? Because your coach is not producing. Get a coach. Hey, Cleveland, get a coach. If you want Deshaun Watson, what Deshaun Watson going to do? He going to go out there and just make a miracle happen? It's going to take some coaching. He going to have to believe in the coach. The players have to believe in the coach. You got Nick Chubb, you wasting his career. Myles Garrett, you wasting his career. Now you got Amari Cooper, who's getting up there in age. But you're wasting these guys' careers. It was good. That's why Landry wanted out. Landry was like, let me get out of here before they waste my career, man. Like, let me go make my money. Let me go do my thing. Because Cleveland, that's what they do. They're famous for that. They're famous for just wasting careers. I remember, I forgot who it was. I forgot the player, but he was talking all that noise to Bill Belichick. Oh, he wanted more money. Oh, New England wasn't treating him right and all this other stuff. So Bill Belichick traded him to the Cleveland Browns, and you never heard from that guy again. That guy's career was over when he went, when he went to the Browns. Those kinds of things happen. But it's certain, like the Cardinals. That's another organization that never gets it right. I know they had a great receiver, Larry Fitzgerald, but what did they yield? A couple of so-called championship runs, but remember, they didn't make those runs until they had like Kurt Warner, until Kurt Warner came along or whatever. Then they go on a Super Bowl run or whatever. Like, those teams are always, because they always make bad decisions. Kyler Murray was a bad decision. Kingsbury was a bad decision. The two were bad decisions. Kyler Murray is a baseball player, better suited for baseball. Kyler Murray, is like, I wouldn't have drafted him. I mean, Heisman Trophy, whatever. That's college. You got to think, that's college. You playing against 18, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds or whatever. The level, the competition is not the same. It's like Kyler Murray. I'm not mad at the bro for getting a job, but he wouldn't have been. If I'm coaching, he not on my team. He not on my team. That's why he is like, everybody suffers, and then he throws fits, crying. He throwing fits and stuff, crying. Crying about playing, crying about what plays are being called and all that. It's like, hey, man, you on the field. Like, you don't have the authority to audible into a better play. What are we crying about? Audible. Do you not have that power to audible? If you see something different, audible. Like, everything, every little thing don't have to fall on the coach, is what I'm saying. Sometimes the players have to accept responsibility. It's like, yo, you out there on the field, you the quarterback. I'm sure you got other plays and other sets you can check into when you call a play. So why are you so upset with the coach when you out there on the field? Man, you should have just audibled it to a different play. You switched it up, get the most out of it. And then, but my thing is certain organizations are never going to reach that Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl or because of the personnel that they have. I mean, right now Dallas starting to fit that category. Wrong choices by Dallas, like I said, and it's always been about the coaches. We rode with Jason Garrett a little too long, wasted Zeke's good years with Jason Garrett. One thing, then bringing in another head coach and not letting him put together his own staff. Not letting him get his own people from the rip so that they can be ready and they can be competitive by year 3 or whatever, so they can be ultra competitive, not taking the same steps. I mean, those are the downfalls. It's like, Jerry Jones was once a smart guy, but now he just can't get out of the way enough to allow coaches to really do their thing. And he's good at picking personnel. Like he gets talent. But what's talent if they're not coachable? What's talent if they don't execute when it's time to execute? What's talent when it's undisciplined? Those things are always key to building successful teams. When you watch the successful coaches, like Peterson's thing is, Peterson is impressive. Won a Super Bowl with like his second year or something with Philly or whatever. And now he probably about to do the same thing with Jacksonville. Probably get Jacksonville their first Super Bowl, or at least get them to a couple of Super Bowls or something. I think he's gonna do something with Trevor Lawrence. It just seems like he has that presence. Like, why don't you want guys like that instead of some of these other coaches? I think some coaches they just got a job because you're mimicking somebody else. You want the next McVay, you want the next whatever, instead of saying, hey, you know what? I want somebody tailor-made for this squad that I got, for the personnel that I have. I want somebody for the personnel that I have. I'm not worried about what everybody else has or whatever. Like, think about it. Belichick, guru of the NFL. Never had Bill Parcells, guru of the NFL. Never worry about what people said about the lack of talent, whatever. Those guys play hard, and you see he almost pulled it off, almost made the playoffs this year with less talent. With less talent on the offensive side of the ball, things like that. If it wasn't for a few bonehead plays by the players themselves, then we talking about Bill in a different light. Because if Miami don't get that spot, the Patriots get that spot. And that's another thing. Before I finish this show, I don't want to hear that. I'm glad Tua is doing okay and he cleared concussion protocol, but I don't want to hear that about Miami. They only made the playoffs by default. They didn't earn that spot. They dropped from that spot. The Jets lost from that spot. They didn't earn that spot. Like, regardless of who was hurt, regardless of what was going on. So let's give them another year and let's see them earn a playoff spot, and then let's see what they got. Let's see if they can earn one. Because I guarantee you it's going to be similar to what it was this season, where somebody going to have to lose and different things going to have to happen in order for you to make the playoffs, because they're not that good. They're not that good. Like, everybody gets sold on, they passed for a bunch of yards, they did this, that, whatever. But what about the rest of the team? What about everything else? What about your defense and your special teams? What about when the games really counted the most? Your quarterback didn't play that well when the pressure was on, under pressure. Those receivers, we were talking about Tyreek Hill was going to set a record. Did he set the record? I don't think Tyreek Hill set the record. I'm just saying. I don't think he got there. These bandwagon hoppers, man, you hop too soon, and he's, following all these different trends, man. You got to sit back and let it play out. Let's see Mr. McDaniels in his second year as a head coach, and then we'll see where they really at. We'll see if they can really advance, if he's really good, because that's another one that came from the Shanahan tree. As a matter of fact, Kyle Shanahan has to be he got to be like a proud papa. All of his players are leaving. All of his coaches are going on to be head coaches and stuff like that. He got to be a proud papa. But the problem that I have with that is that these guys are good and these guys are all right or whatever. But here's the problem that I have, and I'm gonna finish this show tonight. Shanahan ain't won a Super Bowl yet. Those guys haven't won anything. These guys are heralded and getting these head coaching jobs, but they haven't won anything. They've made it. They've made it, but they haven't won anything. So I don't know if I would be all in on these guys. DeMeco Ryans, all these guys. You know, I don't know if I mean, I'm happy for them. It's a good look. It's whatever. But I'm just saying, don't be surprised if none of these guys that I just named win anything. Don't be surprised because they haven't done it yet. Almost don't count. You know, I tell you what, and it's not just because I'm a Cowboy fan, but I'm gonna say this. I would stick with McCarthy over Kyle Shanahan any day of the week. At least he's proved that he can win the big game. He's been there and he's done it. Shanahan's been there and then lost it. He's been to the NFC Championship game a couple of times and ain't really produced yet. You know, so what coaching tree are you really going for? If I'm poaching from anybody's coaching tree, it's McVay. I can see why they poach from Bill Belichick's tree. I'm serious. Think about that. I can see why they poach even Mike Tomlin's tree. I can see why you poach from those guys' trees. But I'm not going to poach from a guy who hasn't got it done yet. I'm sorry. You know, prove you can get it done, and then we'll see where you're at. That's why I'm not mad with Kellen Moore leaving or whatever. Dude, your offense was all right, but in the postseason, it just didn't get us over the hump. So it is time to do something different. It's like, go ahead and do your thing. That's my time. Cornelius Cole, Diehard Fan. Catch y'all next Wednesday, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget to check me out on the Stimulate Your Mind show every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. I tuned in, Apple Music, etc. Oh, thanks for Sports for America for putting me on. Everybody enjoy your Wednesday.